Humans are used to thinking of themselves as the smartest creatures on the planet. We build cities, launch rockets, invent locks, cages, and cunning traps. But sometimes, nature quietly smiles. There are animals that pick our locks, fool our instruments, beat us in memory tests, and escape from the most secure enclosures, simply because they got bored. These are not tall tales. Every story in this video is a documented, real case of an animal outsmarting a human. And some of them did it so elegantly that scientists are still scratching their heads. Today, 10 animals that beat humans at our own game. We begin with a bird we are used to ignoring, the pigeon. We call them flying rats and barely give them a glance. That is a mistake. In experiments, pigeons have shown abilities that leave us baffled. In one famous study, they were trained on a version of the well-known Monty Hall problem, a three-door puzzle that fools even math students. Humans stubbornly choose the wrong strategy. Pigeons, by trial and error, quickly found the winning option and stuck with it, beating most people. In other tests, pigeons learned to tell apart paintings by Picasso and Monet, and to distinguish diseased cells from healthy ones in medical images with an accuracy comparable to doctors. Their tiny brain processes images astonishingly well. So the next time a pigeon gives you a sideways look in the park, remember, on some problems, it really is smarter than you. They are called trash pandas for a reason. Raccoons are the true burglars of the animal world. More than a century ago, the scientist Herbert Hicks ran an experiment. He gave raccoons boxes with different locks, latches, hooks, bolts. The raccoons opened nearly all of them, some within minutes, even when the mechanism was turned upside down. Their paws are almost like human hands, with incredibly sensitive fingers, and their memory for solving problems lasts for years. Cities around the world are waging a real war against raccoons. Manufacturers release raccoon-proof bins, and the raccoons crack them open again and again. In Toronto, called the raccoon capital, authorities spent millions on secure bins with a special lock. The raccoons learned to open those too. Every time a human invents a new lock, somewhere a raccoon is already working out how to get around it. In the suburbs of Sydney, a real bin war broke out, and the humans are losing it to parrots. Sulfur-crested cockatoos learn to open the heavy lids of street bins. The bird pries up the edge with its beak, walks along the rim holding the lid, then flips it open and reaches the food. But the most astonishing part is how the skill spread. Scientists found that cockatoos are not born with this ability. They learn it by watching each other. In different neighborhoods, the birds open bins slightly differently. They develop local dialects of technique. This is culture in its purest form, passed on through learning. Humans fought back. They put bricks, sticks, and water bottles on the lids. The cockatoos knocked them off. A genuine arms race began between the birds and the residents. Few examples show so clearly that intelligence is not only about the brain, but about the ability to learn from one another. Dolphins are so intelligent that they learn to fool the very people training them. At one marine park, dolphins were trained to clean litter from their pool. For every piece of paper or wrapper they brought to a keeper, they received a fish. Clever. But the dolphins were cleverer. A female named Kelly realized that the reward was given for a piece of litter, not for its size. So she began hiding large sheets of paper under a rock on the bottom, then tearing off small pieces and handing them over one at a time, earning a fish for each. She literally invented an economy. What is more, she started catching seagulls to trade them for even more fish, and taught the trick to her calves. Dolphins plan ahead, deceive, negotiate, and pass their tricks to their offspring. The humans thought they were training the dolphins. In reality, the dolphins were studying the humans. Elephants possess a memory that long ago became legend, and it is real. The matriarchs of a herd remember the locations of watering holes tens of kilometers and decades away, leading their family to water during a drought along routes they traveled once, many years before. But elephants do not just remember, they deceive and solve problems. In experiments, elephants understood that a rope had to be pulled by two of them at once, in sync, and would wait for a partner if it was late. They recognized themselves in a mirror, a sign of self-awareness shared by only a few species. And in the wild, elephants have learned to get around human traps and electric fences. Some individuals drop logs on the wires to short or collapse them, and stage raids on fields at night, quietly, knowing exactly when the farmers sleep. A creature weighing several tons that plans, remembers, and outwits is a worthy rival to humans. Orangutans share about 97% of their DNA with humans, and sometimes behave in disturbingly human ways. In zoos, they have become famous master escape artists. The legendary orangutan named Fu Manchu at the Omaha Zoo escaped his enclosure for years, driving keepers to despair. They could not understand how he did it, until they caught him. The orangutan hid a piece of wire in his mouth, between lip and gum, took it out at the right moment, and used it as a lockpick to force the latch of the door. He hid the tool so the humans would not find it. Other orangutans have learned to unscrew bolts, short electric wires, and even fake their behavior to lower a keeper's guard. They watch the keepers, memorize their habits, and wait for the right moment. This is not chance, but planning ahead. No wonder orangutans are called forest engineers. They solve problems just as we would. We are used to thinking of memory as our advantage over animals. One chimpanzee proved the opposite. At the Primate Research Institute in Japan lives a chimpanzee named Ayumu. In a famous experiment, numbers from 1 to 9 flash on a screen for a fraction of a second in random positions, then are instantly covered by white squares. The task is to touch the squares in the correct numerical order, remembering where each number was. Ayumu does this with an accuracy no adult human can match, at display times of only a fraction of a second. He literally has an almost photographic instant memory, the ability to grasp the whole picture in a single glance. Human scientists who trained on this test for months never came close to his score. The discovery overturned the idea that the human brain is superior in everything. In one specific important task, a young chimpanzee leaves us far behind. Crows are perhaps the most intelligent birds on the planet, and they beat our tests again and again. New Caledonian crows do not just use tools, they make them, snapping and bending twigs into hooks to pull grubs from crevices. In the lab, they were given a task inspired by the ancient Aesop fable, The Crow and the Pitcher. To reach a treat floating in a narrow tube of water, you must drop in stones to raise the water level. The crows solved it on their own, choosing sinking objects over floating ones. They understand the principle of water displacement at the level of a 5 to 7-year-old child. They solve multi-step puzzles where one tool must be used to reach another. In cities, crows drop nuts under car wheels at traffic lights, wait for the green, and collect the cracked kernel in safety. They remember the faces of people who wronged them and tell their relatives. A bird that understands physics and holds a grudge is no longer just a bird. In 2016, at the National Aquarium of New Zealand, an escape took place that traveled around the world. An octopus named Inky, who had ended up there after an injury, decided one night that he had had enough. The lid of his tank had been left slightly ajar. Inky climbed out, slid down the side to the floor, crossed several meters of dry ground, hard and dangerous for an octopus, and found a narrow drain pipe about 15 centimeters wide, leading straight to the ocean. He squeezed his boneless body into it and disappeared into the sea. In the morning, staff found only a wet trail leading to the pipe. Octopuses can slip through a hole the size of their own eye, open jars from the inside, unscrew lids, and, it seems, plan an escape in advance. They have not a single bone and have 9 brains. Inky did not just escape. He reminded us that intelligence in the ocean may look nothing like ours, and sometimes it wins. And here is number 1, a bird that New Zealand both adores and curses. The kea, the world's only alpine parrot, has an intelligence that scientists compare to that of monkeys and the character of a hardened troublemaker. Kias are famous for dismantling cars. They tear off rubber wiper seals, antennas, and blades, purely out of curiosity and enjoyment. Tourists return to find their vehicles completely stripped by a flock of parrots. But behind the mischief is real intelligence. In experiments, Kias solved complex multi-step puzzles, used tools, and even worked as a team, one holding a mechanism while another retrieved the reward. They understand probability, choosing the better odds, just as primates do. And, astonishingly, Kias can laugh. They have a special playful call that when other birds hear it, instantly makes them start playing too. Emotional contagion, like in humans. Smart, bold, inventive, and incurably curious, Kias do not just outsmart people. It seems they do it for fun. From the pigeon that beat us at math to the Kia that dismantles our cars for fun, these animals remind us that intelligence on this planet comes in the most unexpected forms. And perhaps we are not as unique as we like to think. Which animal surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.